Good afternoon, YouTubers. It's Greg Martin here again, HGM Laws, Comics, and Investments. Today we're going to talk about keys and what books do I look at grading. Again, I approach this from the perspective of someone who did my main collecting when there was no grading, and wasn't chasing keys, wasn't trying to figure out what books are really going to be hotter. So 95% of my collection was about reading comics that I liked, collecting comics that I liked, and that's what I bought. And so, bought them, read them, stored them, and that's why I have what I have. So what I've been noticing when I listen to some of the other if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you're new, please subscribe, because I'll try to do videos whenever I can, as often as I can, and hope we can share some information. What I find in one of a little offset is I'll try to show books each video, because not that I'm trying to brag about my collection that I've collected over the years. It's just that people like seeing other people's books. I like seeing other people's books. I go in videos, I like to see what books they have, graded or not graded, because I always try to see what books are important to other people, what they consider important storylines and characters, and what they like, because it gives me a better understanding of my collection, how my collection fits in the whole comic book community, and gives me an opportunity to share and share with somebody else who collects comic books how they like it. So that's why I do this. So, as stated earlier, I grew up I collected when there was an era of not grading. And the way I looked at key comics, comics that were considered key issues, was the market and the community decided what was important, and then that became key. What I see a lot of these videos now, I'm not going to name the people, but they will look at the comics coming out and go, this is going to be a key, this is going to be a key, this is going to be a minor key, this will be a key, and they define key as being first appearance, or some major change in a plot line, or some character's appearance on a cover, some character changing their costume color, and one guy said that in a new comic week of 60 something issues being released, 20 of them are key. And that is something that I feel that the publisher wants you to do, because they want you to chase the keys, because it makes them money. Secondary market really doesn't make them a lot of money. It's the primary market that makes them money, because they don't make any extra money if you're buying stuff from the secondary market that's already used. That doesn't benefit them. What benefits them is them coming out and saying, hey, we're going to reboot the franchise. We'll do another story, but instead of just including it into the main line, we're going to now have a whole new story arc and make that a whole new issue. So there's another number one with a whole bunch of variants, and therefore you chase that and buy that, and that makes us money. It's how they make money, and I can't fault them for trying to make money, but that's how they do it. But now we're sitting and we have to look at books and decide, like I've looked at my collection and say, what am I going to get graded? And the way I look at keys is that if the market decides a character is important, and a character gets developed over time as being important, then their first appearance becomes key. Because understand, Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, all these manufacturers, they crank out tons of characters all the time. Tons of first appearances. And so it only becomes a key first appearance when that character becomes popular. So Venom became a key first appearance because people liked Venom, not Electro, not Shocker, and things like that. So Venom became popular, got his own miniseries, and developed tremendously. So then the first appearance of Venom becomes key, just like Wolverine. The first appearance became key. Incredible Hulk 181 became key because Wolverine was a liked character, and got a lot of popularity. So that was important. Some examples of DC: Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn, for some reason, people liked the character, so it appeared in Batman the Animated Series, got some fans. Then it came in Batman Adventures, got more fans, and so the more popular she became, then her first appearance became a key issue. So for me, the keys happened somewhat after the fact. Once they gain in popularity in culture, then that first appearance becomes key. Speculators will just look at whatever they can find and go, okay, this is going to happen, so then this is going to be a key issue. That is the wrong way to go about it. You get no enjoyment. You speculate. 95% of the time, you're going to be wrong, and you're waiting forever for it to happen. If for me, first appearance of Venom, I remember, going into the bookstore, like I say, it was like whatever it came out, 88 or something like that, and or 90 or whatever year it came out. And Joel said to me, he said, they're introducing a new character. This guy Venom is going to be could be a big deal, like Wolverine. And I said, okay, fine, I'll buy an extra copy. So about 2 copies. That's what I did. And read it, said, okay, well, this is another character like everything else, and put it away. But kept buying my Spider-Man run. Now I'll tell you, one of the interesting things I've noticed is that important events, important people in both Marvel and DC universe that end up having staying effect usually come out in very few lines. Okay, they come out in well-established storylines or story characters, and that's where they have that popularity. And I think that's a planned thing that Marvel and DC do. Now, I primarily collect Marvel and DC, so that's why I'll talk just about them. I think the Batman storyline is huge. Spider-Man storyline is huge. And all that they touch upon, XMen and others, huge. The Mutants, Spider-Man, Batman are, to me, 3 of the biggest storylines that a lot of key characters have come through. And to the point where I'm thinking it's sort of by design that Deadpool came through the X-Men, Wolverine came through the X-Men, Venom and Carnage came through Spider-Man, Bane came through Batman, Harley Quinn came through the Batman universe, Killer Croc came through the Batman universe, Todd McFarlane wrote in Spider-Man, wrote in Batman, Frank Miller wrote in Batman, so key things and events happen in those storylines. I mean, it's going to happen in some other storylines as well, but that's why I end up looking and say, oh, I got, have this, have that, because it happened in those storylines. And later becomes important and then becomes key. So, so that figures a lot on how I decide what I'm going to grade. A lot of things I'll keep raw, a couple things I'll grade. Because as stated, grading is expensive. And when you look at grading, you're looking at spending $30 to get something graded. Now, like I say, I usually grade because if the book's going to be go up in value, or I want to retain that value and keep it in the shape I've got it, then that's what I do. But I have too many books to grade. It would cost me a mint, and I'm not going to do that. So, like this X23. Shout out to, again, the Manny and Chino of Chino and More Comics on YouTube channel. They do their auction every Wednesday and Friday. I got this from one of those. So they do a really good job. So go see them, and shout out to my comic community fellows, Kevin Anderson, Canadian Collector, Comic Book Flipping, and Carlos Reyes, and a few other guys who I can't mention, but I'll get to you at some point in time, because they make the hobby fun. And that's why I do this, because I like it, I have fun. This X-23 number 1, I got through Manny and Chino's auction. Decent book, variant. When I looked on, because I use I use Go Collect, I use Comic Price Guide, and eBay as my sources as far as what these things go for. So I looked at Comics Price Guide, and they said this was, I want to say $16 raw, $32 graded at a 9.8. So, and the raw price was 9.8 as of today. So, for me to spend $30 to get this graded and slab, not worth it. I'm losing money. So, I put in a nice Mylar envelope, stick in a nice box, and be done. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Now, this one, on the other hand, Avengers 684, will go up more than $30 if I get this graded. It's a great looking book. There's no spine ticks, no breaks. Should get a really good grade. So this is going to go in the pile to go out to CGC in my 10 per month. So this is slated for June. So that will go. Yeah, and that's why I'll do this, because, whether I sell it or not, to keep it in the form that it's in and to make sure you have the maximum value for it, that's why I'm going to send it out to get graded. And whether it's CGC or CBCS, I'll probably do CGC again. CBCS is coming up because they're doing a census and they're seeing the same quality, but to maximize a good book such as it is, and this has a pretty high 9.8 number associated with it, is how many issues come back 9.8. I'll probably still do CGC. Now, this Detective Comics 1000, the Alex Ross art variant. This raw is considered, I think, 180 at a 9.8, and about 280, or a little higher than that, and graded 9.8. So this is going. And like I say, I have no particular affinity to the book at all, but when I look at the values and see if I grade it, it's really going to increase the value and really be worth $30 plus more to get it graded, yeah, I'll do that. Looks in good shape, no ticks, no breaks, really well preserved, so fine, I'll put it, keep it in the grade that it's in, and even if it sits another 20 years, so be it. Still a good thing to do. Good thoughts are great. Same thing with these Hulk 377s. Like I say, one I got through Manny and Chino, one was in my garage. Like I said, just sitting in the bag and board in a box, and went and looked and, oh, look at this, pulled it out. So I got one of these. Both direct editions. It is what it is. But at the point, given the graded price is well more than $30 than the raw price, and so I said, okay, for some reason it's an important book, people like it. I think this is the first thinking Hulk or Dr. Hulk, and so I said, fine, we will encapsulate this, and therefore it stays this way and in this shape for a good while. Now, this one, X-Men 96, suppose I think it's the second appearance of the new X-Men team, after Giant Size X-Men #1 and X-Men 95, or maybe this is the third, I don't know, it's one of those. But again, it's a pretty good book. I got this off of the Sunday night auction with Strictly Comics. One of the contributors had this available, so I bought this, and I said, okay, I'm gonna. Now this again is one of those events that change the comic culture, so that's why this is considered probably a key or relative key, maybe not as important as Giant Size X-Men #1 or X-Men 95, but very close. So we'll get this. It's in good shape. I mean, my hope is that this gets like an 8.5. And another thing is cleaning and pressing. A lot of people do this cleaning and pressing. You know, I do some cleaning and pressing, but I don't do a lot because, you know, I'm not chasing a grade. Whatever grade I have, that's what I get. I want to preserve what I have, but I'm not chasing the grade, and that's important for me because for me it's not important that I have a 9.8. The book that I have is preserved in the best state I have it, and that's what's important to me. So that's why I have it. Now this I had heard from my guy in Team CGC 9.8 up in Canada. I think Jerry, that's his name, who was my inspiration to really do these. You know, he was like this. He's the first appearance of Jenica, the first female turtle in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't read the Turtles. I don't collect the Turtles. At one point in time, I had a third print of #1. I had that because when it came out, Joel at Big Planet was like, well, you need to buy this because it's, the Turtles are going to be hot. And I'm like, who knows what a superhero Turtles? I mean, seriously, Turtles. Come on, Turtles? But he said, I got a third print. And he sold them to me like $45-50. Fine, I bought it. Eventually, after, like I say, when I did my big sale to my comic shop, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles third print was one to go. So now this is the first appearance of Jenica, who's the female. It's a really good book, and I got this off an auction. So I said, okay, since I have it, I know that it's some reason people like it. It's a key thing for some people. So fine, I'll send it off, get it graded, and it will, be in my collection. Really good quality book. No breaks, in real good shape, so should get a good grade. And in we go. Now, because Carnage is such a big thing, I'm getting this one. I also won this from Chino and Manny. Chino Comics and more, R&R Comics in Houston. Really decent book. Another Carnage thing. This is one of those that came out all graded because it's, the value graded is way more than the value raw. So I'll keep it. And since he's coming in a new movie, and like I say, I'm not opposed to selling my stuff, so I will sell it. But we'll put it in, get it graded, so that way at least it's a good copy, is the best copy I can get for it, and be happy. Now, Mega Man #3, of course, the first appearance of Lobo. This is the one that I found in my garage. I already sent one out that I bought from Chino and Manny, but then I went into my garage and found this. Again, in a long box. I've got 21 long boxes in my garage that I haven't touched in 30 years. So, I go digging through and find little treasures, and I got bagged and board a lot of them. They come out pristine shape. So I'm like, hey, great. But this is the next one. And like I say, I'm going to do 10 a month. And what I'll do is I'll preview them each month for you. And then when they come in, we'll do the unboxing. I won't do the, I'm going to hide the thing for me. No, I'm just not that serious, folks. So I've got 2 more that are supposed to go this month. 2 more slots of my 10. Now I've reserved those. Hopefully I'll get them this month. I have a Giant Size X-Men #1 coming, which is I got from Chino and Manny. That's being cleaned and pressed because I asked the guy to get it cleaned and pressed because that's a grail. I mean, that's a grail. There are like 3 or 4 grails in comics to me. Giant Size X-Men is #1. Incredible Hulk 181 is another. Amazing Spider-Man 129 is another. And Amazing Spider-Man 300 is another. It's funny how 3 of those grails are Amazing Spider-Man issues, and the other one is an X-Men issue. Like I told you, Marvel and DC put the real important stuff through the real important lines of their comics, and I think that's important. That's history. That's history, and that's how that goes. Because I don't know, but that's what it is. And I have an Ultimate Fallout 4 that I'm supposed to be getting in. So of course that's the first appearance of Miles Morales, and I went after that because when I first heard of Miles Morales, and I have a Superior Spider-Man #1, I was mildly upset because they were ending Peter Parker. Amazing Spider-Man 700 was out, and they said that's going to end the line there, and they're going to start the Superior Spider-Man thing, where they're going to have Doc Ock wear the costume for a while, and going to introduce this kid Miles Morales to be a Spider-Man, and I'm just like, Peter Parker Spider-Man, period, no change. Peter Parker Spider-Man, but for some reason he's become popular. Got his own movie with Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, which won an Oscar. Spider-Gwen became popular. So, not one to, I may not like it, but I'm not one to ignore it. And we'll get further in down the line about, actual trends that you see and being smart about what you invest in. So that's the first appearance of Miles Morales. So I finally got that. And once that comes in, then I'll send that out. So those are the two that I'm looking for. I know I've also got coming from Matt Chino and Mutants 98, but that can wait because that makes number 4 of the ones I've got. And so I've got 1.9.8, 1.9.6, one being graded now, and then this other one coming in. And then I've got a Detective 880, the one with the big Joker cover, the bats and all that stuff. So that's really popular. So that'll go out. I don't know if that's going to be the June submission or the July, but those are the ones I've got coming that I have to look at. So, but that's the video now. We'll come back, maybe in a few days or something like that. Well, I'll just show some more books because that's what this is about. It's about the books. It's about the books. It's about the thinking behind the books. It's about being smart about your money with the books. And just not and getting joy out of the hobby. It's a hobby. It's not a primary source of income. It's not a primary source of investments. It's a hobby. And as I say, you use your disposable income on your hobby. And I always say, you collect what you like, and you can never be disappointed. And you don't go broke, and you're not missing the money, and you're not foregoing a bill to buy a comic. It's just not that. Any financial planner will tell you, comics are not necessarily the best place to be if you're trying to make money. And I ascribe to that wholeheartedly. And we'll talk more and more as we go. But as of now, again, please subscribe if you like it. Hit the like button. Tell your friends. Enjoy the hobby. And we'll see you soon. All right. Take care now.